Today, we're doing a forensic breakdown of a system that's been designed to weaponize our most fundamental human need, the need for connection. We are going to deconstruct the romance scam.
Okay, let's really dive into this, because this quote gets right to the absolute heart of the paradox. You see, a romance scam doesn't work because the victim is naive or foolish. It works because the person on the other end is a master at exploiting our deepest capacity for empathy and hope. They aren't selling you a fake identity as, an oil rig worker or a soldier overseas. No, they're selling you a feeling, that intoxicating, all-consuming feeling of being perfectly, completely seen and understood. And that is a very, very powerful product.
And that feeling? It's incredibly profitable. According to the FTC, reported losses to romance scams hit over $1.1 billion in just one recent year. But let's be crystal clear about what this number actually represents. This isn't just a collection of one-off cons. This is a global industry, often run by organized crime, using repeatable, scalable systems to manipulate emotions for cash. The scale is just staggering, and it's proof of just how effective these psychological tactics really are.
So how do we start to dismantle this threat? Well, we're going to follow a clear roadmap. First, we'll look at the paradox of the perfect stranger. Then we'll map out how scammers target vulnerabilities. After that, we are going to deconstruct their entire playbook, what I'm calling the emotional coercion system. From there, we'll analyze the psychological hijack they perform and, most importantly, show you how to build a defensive shield with concrete actions. And finally, we'll land on the core principle, how to protect your own empathy.
Here's the central idea you really have to grasp. The more perfectly a stranger seems to meet your needs, the more the red flags just vanish. You see, the scammer's greatest tool isn't their fake photo. It's your own hope. They create an illusion so compelling that your brain wants to believe it's real. They aren't exploiting a lack of intelligence. They are exploiting the very human capacity to connect, to trust, and to believe in the best in people.
So where does this exploitation even begin? How do they find their targets in the first place? The answer is chillingly strategic. They look for people who are in moments of transition, moments of profound vulnerability that are often shared publicly online, completely innocently. To a scammer, a dating profile isn't a snapshot of a person, it's a data set to be mined. Phrases like recently divorced, widowed, empty nester, or new to the city, those aren't just biographical details. To them, they are flashing signals of social isolation and an emotional readiness to bond. The scammer uses your own words, your own honesty, to build a map that leads directly to your unmet needs, which they are now going to pretend to fill perfectly.
And there's a biological component at play here too. When we feel that intense connection, our brain releases chemicals like oxytocin, which you've probably heard of as the bonding hormone. It's what makes us feel trust and affection. But it has this critical side effect. It can literally suppress activity in our prefrontal cortex. Now that's the part of your brain that acts as your risk assessment center. It's that little voice inside that says, wait a minute, this seems a little too good to be true. The scammer is actively trying to trigger this biological response, to chemically lower your defenses. And this brings us to the core of this whole explainer, the machine itself. This isn't some random act of deception. It is a systematic, repeatable process designed for one purpose and one purpose only: financial extraction. We're going to walk through their playbook, step by step.
So this timeline shows you the entire life cycle, step by step. It starts over on the left with targeting, where they scrape data from profiles. That moves into the critical grooming phase, where they use something called love bombing to set the hook, which is a shared vision of a perfect future. From there, it's a quick move to escalation, where the first of many crises is manufactured. And that leads directly to financial extraction, and finally, the exit, where they ghost, they block, or they might even fake their own death to vanish without a trace.
Let's focus on that first operational phase, love bombing. Now, this isn't just flattery, it is a calculated tactic. The scammer showers the victim with non-stop affection, mirrors their values and their dreams right back at them, and uses superlatives. You're my soulmate. I've never felt this way before. The goal is to create an artificial sense of destiny. This whole process cultivates what psychologists call a parasocial bond, an intense, one-sided emotional intimacy. The victim feels deeply connected, but for the scammer, it's just a script. And this, right here, is the crucial moment. During that love bombing stage, the victim is made to feel uniquely special, like they have finally found the one. This intense emotional high, which is fueled by that parasocial bond and the release of oxytocin, is what disables their natural defenses. It's the foundation upon which the entire rest of the scam is built.
Without a successful love bombing phase, the financial part just won't work. And here is where the manipulation flips. As soon as that deep emotional bond is established, the whole relationship pivots. The scammer's focus shifts from emotional grooming to financial testing. This starts with the very first manufactured crisis. It's almost always something that seems plausible, urgent, and just small enough not to trigger major alarms. It's designed to test the waters of financial compliance. This tactic is called double-sided grooming. They start with a really small ask, a few $100s for a broken phone, maybe a customs fee, or a plane ticket to come visit you that gets canceled. This tests compliance. If the victim pays, the scammer knows they have a live one. From there, the requests escalate into what becomes the psychological choke point. The moment the ask shifts from a small problem to a life-altering demand, framed as the only thing standing in the way of your shared future.
So why does this work so consistently on so many smart, caring people? It's because the system is designed to hijack the very psychological shortcuts, the heuristics, that we use to build normal, healthy relationships. In short, they weaponize your own decency against you.
So why does this work so consistently? It's not magic. It's a deep understanding of human psychology that's just been twisted for criminal purposes. Let's break down the 3 core psychological levers they pull.
First, they exploit the reciprocity heuristic. That's our natural urge to return a favor. They've given you months of affection, validation, and emotional support. Now they're asking for financial support in return. It feels fair. Second, the sunk cost fallacy kicks in. Once you've sent money, your brain wants to justify that investment. So you keep sending more to save the relationship and avoid the pain of admitting that first payment was a loss. And third, they create an isolation effect, subtly driving a wedge between you and anyone who might give you a reality check, like skeptical friends or family.
This comparison is an incredibly practical tool. A scammer script is flawless. It's just too good to be true. A real connection has imperfections. It has quirks and disagreements. A scammer uses vague superlatives. A real partner makes specific, shared plans. A scammer often feels like a ghost, with vague details and constant unavailability, while a real relationship is built on stability and presence. And most importantly, a scammer's life is a series of constant crises, whereas a genuine connection is about navigating real life together, not just surviving one manufactured emergency after another. All right, now that we've analyzed the system of attack, we need to build a system of defense. And this isn't about becoming cynical or closing yourself off from connection. It's about becoming strategic and protecting yourself with clear, non-negotiable rules of engagement. Your defense starts with what I call the verification habit. 3 mandatory steps. 1. Run their profile pictures through a reverse image search. This will often reveal that the photos are just stolen from some innocent person's social media. 2. Insist on a live interactive video call and do it early. Scammers rely on anonymity, and a live call shatters that. They will have endless excuses for why they can't. That excuse is the red flag. And 3, the ultimate firewall. Make a firm, unbreakable rule to never ever transfer money to someone you have not met in the physical world.
And as you interact with someone, keep these red flags in mind. First, the script of perfection. If they seem too good to be true, they are. Second, the ghost. Constant unavailability for video calls or meeting in person. Third, and this one is key, the crisis cycle. If every time you get closer or you plan to meet, a new financial emergency mysteriously pops up, you are not in a relationship, you are in a system of extraction. And finally, listen to your own body. If a request for money gives you that knot in your stomach, that feeling of panic, that is a survival signal from your brain. Do not ignore it.
And this brings us to our final and maybe most important section. After all of this analysis, what is the core principle we need to walk away with? Well, it's about reframing the entire problem. So the crucial takeaway is this. Online romance fraud is not about love. It is an emotional coercion system. It uses the techniques of parasocial bonding, that one-sided intimacy we talked about, to intentionally disable your brain's risk assessment centers. Its success relies on hijacking psychological principles like reciprocity and enforcing isolation. The defense, therefore, isn't about being less loving, it's about being more protective of where you place your trust. Let this be your mantra. Your empathy is a gift, not a vulnerability. Your hope for connection is beautiful. It is not a weakness. The goal isn't to stop trusting people, it's to get better at verifying who is worthy of that trust. So verify the person to protect your heart. Because real love builds a future, it never asks you to wire transfer money for it.